Hi, everybody. It's Mark Rushton of MarkRushtonGallery.com. It is Wednesday, April 13th, 2022, and on lunch break from the day job. And I tried to start this about 15 minutes ago, and somebody showed up at my door. Unexpected, but happy to see him. And that's good. But so I had to stop that, delete things, start all over again. So this video is called Music, Syncs, and Disco Again. So we'll start off talking about the painting, and then we're going to move over to my music side here, which I've not talked about in some time. Are we back on here? We're good. Okay, good. So I always like to start off with the daily art talk video here, at least with the Instagram picture of the day. I'm at Instagram at Mark Rushton. Sorry. I'm a little flustered today. What can I say? A lot going on. Holding steady at 104 followers after dropping one yesterday. But that's, sometimes you have to drop people, or people have to drop you, I guess. I don't know. And today's picture of the day on the left, this is in the main level half bath, right off the kitchen, is my Sandy Swoboda Smith painting. She's a former work colleague, long time ago, and she got her art degree and painted really beautiful abstracts, and then disappeared. Well, she moved away, and then moved around a bit, and then disappeared completely from the art world more than a decade ago, and kind of a bummer because she was really good, and bought one of her paintings at when she was at college, and anyway, long story there, but really super nice person, and I wish she was painting again. But maybe she'll turn up someday. She'll either resurface or she won't. But um, I don't know. And that wasn't even the painting I wanted. The painting I wanted was already sold at the show, or was already spoken for. But that one's good too. I'm holding on to that one there. And then you got a Mark Rushton there to the right of it, and then some French artists there on the in the mirror, right? Yeah. All right, so that's Instagram for today. Yeah, just I don't know. I like to have art in the bathroom. I like to have art in the living room, every room. That really makes the room. Her painting really makes her much more than mine, I think, even because mine's behind plexiglass and the frame's a little wonky and stuff like that. But hers, that's standing the test of time. It's been some time since I bought that. Anyway, so a day here, which is music, syncs, and disco again. So if you don't know anything about me, I'm obviously a fine artist, but I'm also a recording artist. And I use the word recording artist because I really don't consider myself to be a musician. I don't play an instrument. I don't do covers. I don't play live. I can't just make something that you want. I don't do works for hire, which is the industry term. I can't just can you get me something with a little bit of a jazzy feel to it, or kind of a hip hop, blah, blah. I can't do that. That's not how I operate. But over the last 20 some years here, I've produced a lot of works, many of which I've published, and most of which I've published. And not only music in the genres of ambient, down tempo electronica, beats, drones, avant-garde stuff, comedy and humor and things like that, and then also environmental recordings, which would be like field recordings, rain and thunder and wind and crickets and city sounds, and all that sort of highway sounds, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I've released that over the years and built that into what it is, right? And I've done other things too, as far as uh, figuring out how to attract listeners to that music, not just on one music platform, but on many music streaming services around the world. I've also last few years here gotten into the world of licensing my music, particularly within applications. So if you were to go to make a TikTok video, my music is available to use in the background for a TikTok video, or you can use my music on YouTube via Content ID. I would get the ad revenue on that. What's the other stuff that I do? Oh, uh, Apple Fitness Plus. I'm in there. I'm on Peloton. I'm in all these other things that you've never heard of that earn me. I joke about that, um, but one thing I've done a little bit of it. Sometimes people will out of the blue will email me and say, I heard, and usually it's from Bandcamp, but sometimes it's from streaming services, and they're like, I heard something of yours and I really like it and I want to use it like in a personal video or documentary or industrial film, something like a project I'm working on. And typically those are like sort of indie things. And they don't have a budget for music. They never have a budget for music, and that's okay. And I've said yes, and I'll just send me a copy when you make the thing. And sometimes that happens, and a lot of the times it doesn't. Who knows if those projects ever get completed? But I always thought that was extremely a difficult thing. It was like, how do you license your music? And it's always been a part of the industry that I don't understand. And how do you do this, right? But particularly in the streaming era, particularly in the last decade, music licensing with indie artists like me, and I'm what's considered one stop in that I own all my master rights, I own all my publishing, I control everything. I'm not signed to a label or anything like that. Worldwide and in perpetuity, I guess they use these terms, and apparently that's a good thing. If they like the music, that's a good thing, because you're not chasing down some guy who co-wrote the song with you 20 years ago, who's living on an island or in a cabin in the woods and operating a typewriter, right? And that's good. But last several months here, I've been sort of exploring and researching, music licensing, synchronization licensing, the world of micro licensing agencies, which is a thing that's popped up here in the last decade or so, and for smaller use people, wedding photographers, and smaller industrial films, commercials, podcasts, that sort of thing. You have the ability, those people, particularly if they have a budget, they have the ability to license music, real music from artists. There are all those free libraries out there too, and I have never gotten into music libraries. I think they're all a little promise more than what they can really deliver. Hold on for a second. And I just I don't want to go that route. I'm not interested in music libraries. I don't I just from what I've heard from various people over the years, I'm just like, But what I'm interested in, it seems like, and I have such a huge catalog here. I mean, I have 2,500 titles, over 900 on ambient, over 300 on down tempo beats, 1,200 on the environmental, but the environmental's everywhere. Um, there's got to be somebody out there who is interested in the kind of music that I have produced, and 900 ambient songs. Here's the interesting thing. So I was like thinking about this the other day. I was like, if somebody played what you got over 900 ambient tracks. If somebody played you blindfolded, blind date, right? If they played you one of your tracks, would you know it? Yeah, 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 yeah. Almost certainly. Yeah, I would say within fairly quickly. I may not know the title off the top of my head. Most of the time, I will know the title, but I'll just say that's so and so, or that's this name that I publish under. I would know that. So I think my music's relatively distinctive. I mean, I've gone out on these services with the music libraries and everything like that, and I've heard the other ambient people, and it's not my kind of ambient. It's it's kind of a work for hire sort of, oh, I'll make something sort of ambientish, right? And it's like it has a melody, and it's something you hear in the new age office. Which is fine, that's fine, perfectly fine, but I'm off in freeform land, and so that's not everybody's ticket because, what key was it in? I don't know the beats per minute, it's run through so many processors that it's just smoothed out, right? Anyway, I can't believe somebody's actually, shown up and listening to this, but that's pretty amazing. Anyway, I've been researching the industry, and if you go out, the Google and search engines and all that sort of stuff are the worst place for a musician to start, because you get the absolute, you do get some good advice, but it's very confusing. Like, they're like, you should be out there pitching to music production people, and it's like, what, who, how do you do that, right? And this video isn't about that per se, but it's just like, you have to set yourself up in a particular way. Whether you have 900 ambient tracks, or whether you get your first 10, you just produced your first 10. It's uh show you the ropes, kid, show you the ropes, right? So what did I do? What did I do? I've been listening to podcasts, I've been watching videos. It's been a slog because uh there's some really interesting people in these podcasts who are involved in this industry, have built this industry, and they seem like really, really interesting people. They've made mistakes, they've had success, and what can I say? I'm like, I want to be part of that, right? That'd be great, right? And, but it's not like, how do I put it? How do I put it? My music is, it is what it is, and it's, I guess it's like finding the right home for it. It's not essentially selling it, it's like connecting it with the people who are looking for what they're looking for my stuff, but they don't have me in mind. I've said that with the playlists and on the streaming. When I build playlists of my music out there on all the streaming services, and they're out, I don't know how many, I have playlists on like 12, 13, 14 streaming music services around the world. I like hundreds of them. And so my attitude is like, people are looking for the kind of music you make. They're not looking for you. You're not at that point yet. They're looking for the music that you make. So I kept hearing this thing called disco at disco.ac. And it's an industry tool. A lot of people in the industry use this sort of thing before. What they used to do was they would trade tracks and um, Dropbox and all these different services. And so this is sort of like Dropbox with an interface with communication, email, but then it's so much more. AI auto tagging of tracks, or eh, um, the artist can go and tag certain metadata on the particular tracks. You can load up all your information with all your codes and contact information, and telling them what, why I'm one stop and all that sort of stuff. But Disco, look, I've been a paying customer now of Disco since December of 2021, and been dipping my toe in here. I'm adding tracks. I think I have, what do I have in here? 81 tracks, maybe 87, something like that. And it's confusing. It's maybe I've slowly figured it out. And the funny thing is, like, my day job here for the last 25 plus years has been testing, like, software systems and processes and everything like that, and on some very, very, very complex applications. And Disco is right up there with them. Holy mackerel! Wow. Because you have things like, you've got the playlists, and you have tracks, and you have albums, and you have channels, and you have libraries, and they're all kind of, and then they have different types of codes, and then they have like hidden uh selections. Like, you can make this streaming only, you can download an MP3, you can download a wave or an AIFF, and restrictions, and who am I sending it to? And I don't even, it's a lot to take. It's drinking from the fire hose. I mean, I built it up into what I built it into now. And I think I'm kind of at the point where I need to start going and doing some pitching, at least to agencies, maybe library. I don't want to deal with I'm not a music library type of person. I think I'm more like on the agency side. But I don't know, right? Would I want to be exclusive? You want to not be exclusive? Listen, I just want to have somebody be happy with what they're getting. That's really the main thing for me at this point in time. It's just dipping my toe in the water, and it's very confusing. So I think I'm at the point now where I need to go and start. And yeah, I've researched and I've compiled lists of names of these companies and where their submission pages are and things like that. Everybody's different, you know. When we ran the podcast, or the literary podcast, for 9 years, towards the end, everything was kind of being the submissions were handled via Submittable, which is a very good service. But um, uh, it's I don't know. This is kind of like that, but except I don't know who to submit to. You have to dig that. You have to pan that gold out of the creek, right? There may not be anything there, right? And of course, there's a million musicians out there who are much more. I don't know. I don't know if the word ambitious is for eager, over eager, obnoxious. I mean, I've heard some of these people just talking about syncs, and these are people who have gotten syncs, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I would. That's just, I don't know. What am I going to say about that? It's like, I don't know. I'm just can I be nervous? Can I be nervous about this? I know I should just get out there and just and start accepting the rejection is not a problem. I do not have a problem with rejection because, as an artist, as a fine artist, you're dealing with rejection constantly. When I was trying to get into galleries, oh my God, the amount of rejection was, and just indifference was incredible. So I think really kind of, listen, this is like the camera therapy, the one-on-one camera therapy here. I think as far as the sync line, I've built this up to a certain point here, and what's that old, that, you go to war with the army that you got, that old Donald Rumsfeld, that guy. You can get aspartame, that horrible chemical, approved. But it's a good quote. You go to war with the army that you got. And so it's like, I've got 75 ambient tracks out there. I've got 6 down tempo and grooves. I've got a handful of avant-garde stuff, which kind of falls into the line of ambient. So I think maybe it's time get off the pot and start getting some rejections. Start getting some start learning, right? Because I don't know what to do. I don't there's no guide. It's not like you can just uh you see if you Google that sort of stuff, it's like, take my course, take my course. I'll show you how to like I don't want to take your course. I want to go through the school of hard knocks. I want to figure out everything like how I figured out with like building public playlists, which is an ongoing thing. It's an endless education. And I don't know. There's no cheat code. There's no math, right? I think largely I think, you have to build relationships as well. People not only have to get to know your music, but they need to get to know you too as a person. Are you easy to deal with? If I need something today, can you get it and print it off and send it to the lawyer? Which is honestly something I did this morning, right? Or if somebody shows up at your door wanting to give an estimate to get some work done on your house, you got to stop the live stream and then run down there and deal with it, because that's my world. Welcome to my world, but that's okay. 21 minutes. Oh my gosh, it's a lunch hour's over. Over. That's it. Listen, thanks for listening to me here. But listen, you go to markrushton.com music services here, markrushton.com music services. You can listen to some of my music here. You can stream some of my music here that is out on disco. Because it was just like, listen, I'm going to build some small playlists and I'm going to embed them. I'll have a page out there. As you can see, I've got all my information here over on the right sidebar, showing that, I'm a member of ASCAP for 20 years, what my writer and publisher IPI numbers are, who do I use for worldwide mechanical and publishing royalty collection. I have an Airtable database of my stuff. It's not perfect, but it's got everything that you need, right? You just have to build it. If you build it, you're going to have to figure out how to sell it, right? If you build it, they will come. That only happens in the movies, honestly. Awesome. Well, anyway, back to the day job here. Talk to you later.